So, the Book of Boba Fett recently thrilled Star Wars fans when the fifth episode, Return of the Mandalorian, was packed full of subtle and some not-so-subtle nods to the prequel trilogy. In that episode, we saw a character come into possession of a retired Naboo N-1 Starfighter. Now, Naboo Starfighter ships were first seen in Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace before appearing in sequel Attack of the Clones and even in the original and sequel Star Wars movie trilogies. And if you're confused about that last bit, keep on listening and I'll explain more. Because it is time to talk about one of the coolest looking Star Wars ships ever, and there is some pretty heavy competition for that title.
So with this in mind, I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 8 things you didn't know about
Naboo N-1 Starfighters. Number 8. R2 droids literally become part of the ship. Every Naboo N-1 Starfighter has a droid port that is modified to fit a standard R2 unit. While the spacecraft is a single pilot capacity vehicle, the addition of an onboard astromech droid creates a sort of co-pilot dynamic. To fit into the small Naboo Starfighter droid socket, the onboard R2 unit must be loaded into the space from below. Once loaded into the ship, the R2 droid's legs telescope into themselves slightly, and then the R2 unit's head telescopes upward from its body to appear at the back of the Starfighter. When docked into the Naboo N-1 Starfighter droid socket, the R2 unit performs in-flight systems management and flight performance optimization, and can carry out limited repair works on the ship. A pilot and droid configuration has long since proven beneficial and ideal for those small spacefighter types, and will likely do so for many future generations yet to come. For example, Anakin Skywalker's flight with R2-D2 in the Naboo N-1 Starfighter foreshadows his son Luke Skywalker's adventures with R2-D2 in an X-Wing craft. Number 7. The cost to build. Fancy zooming around town in your own private Naboo N-1 Starfighter? Well, we don't blame you. The ship has it all: style, speed, and a ton of power. However, it won't come cheap. You are going to need a lot of credits to afford one of these sleek ships. For you see, each Naboo N-1 Starfighter comes with a price tag of 200,000 credits, and considering that one Imperial credit is equivalent to $1, then suddenly $200,000 doesn't seem too expensive for a functioning spacecraft, although you'd probably have to pay extra for the necessary R2 droid unit. All of the Naboo N-1 Starfighter fleet were manufactured by the Theed Palace Space Vessel Engineering Corps, who were also responsible for the construction of the Naboo Cruiser and the Naboo Queen's Royal Starship. Star Wars fans hoping to recreate their own version of a Naboo N-1 Starfighter might actually be better off opting for a LEGO set. To date, there have been 5 Naboo Starfighter LEGO sets since the 1999 release of Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace.
and now it's just been announced that there is a new LEGO set reflecting this glorious Mandalorian N-1 Starfighter.
The 2015 version includes 442 pieces and came with minifigures of Anakin Skywalker, R2-D2, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and several battle droids. Number 6. The gleaming royal look was stylish and for protection. While the Naboo Starfighter definitely packs a punch with its weapons and can reach incredible speeds, it's also one of the most stylish spacecraft in the entire Star Wars saga. The N-1 fighter boasts a gleaming chrome finish on its surfaces, indicating the ship's royal status as escort and protection for the Naboo Queen's Royal Starship. But this design originally carried a practical purpose, as the earlier versions of the Naboo spacecraft required a chrome finish for protection from harmful rays in the planet's upper atmosphere. As electromagnetic field technology progressed over the years, spacecraft and their pilots became fully shielded from such rays. But the chrome finish was kept predominantly as a symbol of royal status. Buffed chromium finishes also came into effect during flybys and celebratory parades, as the surfaces of the N-1 Starfighter glinted in the sun to create rather dazzling effects. The front chrome surface of the ship was also intended to complement the Naboo Royal Starship, which was completely covered in a material known as royal chromium, and considered a true work of art by Naboo's citizens. Number 5. The Starfighter was designed to be environmentally friendly. It turns out that it's not just our galaxy that has become conscious of climate change, because designed by the Theed Palace engineers, the customized engine system of the Naboo N-1 Starfighter was based on a standard Nubian drive motor, but later was significantly modified to release fewer emissions into the atmosphere. While at a first glance what you could call the Starfighter's rat tail, which projects from the engines at the rear of the ship, might just look like an elegant design flourish, it is in fact part of the specially modified engine. The tail of the ship serves as a heat sink, circulating coolant and helps to dissipate the excessive heat coming from the Nubian engines. The necessary heat sinks were configured into the elegant tail end of the N-1 Starfighter, and was seen by many as being a perfect combination of art and engineering that is seen across the entire Naboo fleet. Number 4. They were featured on screen in more than just The Phantom Menace. While the Naboo N-1 starfighters are best known for their appearance in Star Wars Episode 1, they went on to appear throughout the wider Star Wars saga across movies, TVs, books, and more. Most notably, a small fleet of Naboo starfighters are seen in the opening frames of Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones, when they're seen escorting Senator Padme Amidala's royal starship to Coruscant. An assassination attempt on the Queen's life fails when a bomb kills her handmaiden, who is acting as a decoy, with Padme and R2-D2 having flown in undercover on one of the escorting Naboo starships.
N-1 starships remained in Naboo service during the Clone Wars, with Jedi Padawan Ahsoka Tano training Senator Padme Amidala in starfighter combat using an all-chrome N-1 vehicle.
After the climactic Battle of Endor seen in Episode 6, starfighters flew in celebration after the destruction of the Galactic Empire's second Death Star. A Naboo N-1 starfighter was also seen in the fleet led by Poe Dameron and Lando Calrissian during a starship battle in Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Number 3. The Mandalorian made some major modifications to the N-1 starfighter. The Book of Boba Fett's 5th episode focuses on Din and his hunt for a replacement ship after losing the Razor Crest in the previous series of The Mandalorian. At first unimpressed by the relic Naboo N-1 starfighter, describing it as a pile of junk, the Mandalorian is soon persuaded to help make some needed upgrades and modifications to the ship. The engineer manages to sell the N-1 to Din after explaining that because the ship was created before the Republic era means that it's off the grid and can jump into hyperspace without needing a docking ring. Two qualities that are very useful for a bounty hunter. The Mandalorian then recruits a team of Jawas to find specific bolt-on aftermarket speed mods to bring the vintage vehicle up to speed, quite literally. One thing that remains to be seen is how the Mandalorian will upgrade the ship's existing arsenal of weapons. While impressive for a ship of its modest size, the Naboo N-1 starfighter is nowhere near as packed with ammo as the Razor Crest was. Each Naboo N-1 starfighter comes with one twin blast cannon in addition to one proton torpedo magazine that has the capacity of 10 torpedoes. Number 2. Princess Leia piloted a Naboo starfighter in Operation Cinder. While her father, Anakin Skywalker, was the most notable pilot of a Naboo N-1 starfighter in the Star Wars movies, Leia also piloted one of the iconic ships following the events of Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. After the climactic events of Episode 6 and the destruction of the second Death Star, Emperor Palpatine issued orders after his death to Imperial agents to carry out what became known as Operation Cinder. It was the fallen Emperor's plan to punish the Galactic Empire for failing to prevent his death. Many planets were targeted, with satellites used to ravage a part of the planet's ecological balance and subsequently cause extreme weather conditions, would eradicate the population and city structures. Before the planet of Naboo could fall to the deceased Emperor's plan, rebel leader Leia, along with Naboo's reigning queen and one of their ace pilots, flew 3 long-abandoned Naboo N-1 starfighters into space to destroy the Imperial satellites that were causing the extreme weather conditions. Their efforts to save Naboo were a success, helped by the timely arrival of Lando Calrissian and the Alliance fleet. Events of Leia's heroic flight in a Naboo N-1 starfighter were depicted in the Star Wars Battlefront 2 video game and a 2015 Marvel comic called Shattered Empire. At number 1, the full-sized prop N-1 starfighter was on display in a museum. While filming for Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace, a full-sized Naboo N-1 starfighter prop was used for filming Anakin Skywalker's scenes in the film's climactic space battle. The prop was put on display in Boston's Museum of Science in 2005 as part of the exhibition Star Wars Where Science Meets Imagination. After the exhibition ended, the full-sized Naboo N-1 starfighter remained on display in the museum for several years afterward, where it would hang above guests' heads, held aloft with several large wires. It was taken down years later after having accumulated a rather large amount of dust in the process. The prop included the head of R2-D2 in the droid port, while the view from beneath revealed the ship's underside was completely chromium.
And there we go, my friends. Those were 8 things you didn't know about
Naboo N-1 starfighter ships. I hope that you enjoyed that, and please let me know what you thought about it down in the comments section below. As always, I've been Jules. You can go follow me over on Twitter at RetroJ0, or you can swing by Live and Let's Dice, where I do all of my streaming outside of work, and it'd be great to see you over there. But before I go, I just want to say one thing. Hope you're treating yourself well with love and respect, my friend, because you deserve all of the best things in life, and do not let anything or anyone else tell you otherwise, alright? You're a massive ledge. Now go out there and smash it. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.